Trust is the currency of leadership. Write it down. Say it out loud where you are. Trust is the currency of leadership. If you do not have trust, you are bankrupt, even if you have followers, titles, cameras, and charisma. Leadership lives and dies by the balance in the account of trust. Read this one for me, go. Test over time equals trust. Not talent, not talk, not Twitter. Test over time. This is foundational. This is non-negotiable. This is the first command. Protect the account. I want you to imagine your leadership like a bank account with one product, trust. Every word you say is a transaction. Every decision you make is a transfer. Every private choice is a charge or a deposit. Some of you are trying to buy big buildings with an overdrawn balance. You are writing checks with your mouth that your character cannot cash. Stop it. Stop using the term trust me. Write that down. Stop using the term trust me. That phrase is usually the sound of an empty account trying to purchase credibility with vocabulary. Trust is not a speech. Trust is a statement from time. It is required in stewards that a man be found faithful, found, not claimed, faithful, not famous. The elders wrote, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. A good name is a high yield account. It compounds over time. You can borrow against it in a crisis. Your team can breathe under it. And listen to me. What took you 30 years to build can be lost in 30 seconds of foolishness. Write that down. Read this one for me. Go. It takes longer to rebuild it than to build it. That fear is healthy. Keep it. Protect the account. I met a young CEO. Let me give you a parable. Bright, articulate, with an app that could track groceries to grandmothers. He convinced a board with a deck and a smile, but not with history. In the first storm, servers crashed, customers cried. He stood up in the meeting and said, trust me, we'll fix it by Friday. Friday came, and so did lawsuits. The account was empty. Gifts advertised. Time exposed. He learned the painful law of leadership finance. Perception is a short loan. Trust is a long investment. He that is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Your little Mondays decide your big Fridays. So I issue a decree to your soul. Your number one leadership goal is not to be liked, applauded, or viral. Your first job is to protect the account. Put a guard at your mouth. Put a fence around your appetites. Put brakes on your timetable. Protect it in private. Protect it in public. Protect it when you are tired, when you are angry, when you are praised. Trust bleeds faster when you're celebrated than when you criticize. Be afraid of applause without accountability. The righteous walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. Integrity is insurance. It covers your children, your staff, your partners. Protect the account. Write this down. Trust is not built in a moment. It is measured by moments in sequence. That is why I say test over time equals trust. Don't ever rush the clock. Don't demand what you have not deposited. Some of you are negotiating for loyalty like it's on sale. Loyalty is never on sale. It is earned at full price, paid in daily installments of predictable character. Read this one for me, go. Predictability is the proof of trust. When your people can schedule their sanity because they can forecast your values, you are rich. And hear me, with love but with fire. If the account is low, do not market more. Make more deposits. Marketing is a megaphone. It only amplifies what is in the account. Amplify emptiness and you will echo shame. Protect the account. That means boundaries. That means saying no to opportunities that pay cash but rob trust. It means refusing gifts that do not fit your integrity. It means choosing obscurity over exposure. If exposure will expose your cracks. Jesus waited 30 years for 3. He submitted to time. He let the wilderness test him before the crowds could tempt him. Write it down. Submission to time is a deposit. Now, I am going to give you a roadmap in this series. 8 deposits your team can feel. Not theories, not soft slogans, practices that show up in calendars, conversations, decisions, and even in your silence. We will talk about clarity. You can repeat truth spoken early, written down, so anxiety has no room to incubate. We will address consistency under pressure, being the same leader on Monday and Friday. We will confront accountability with teach submitting to authority before you ask for loyalty. We will establish fairness without favoritism, justice practice when it costs you. We will require empathy that shows up presence, listening, respect in small moments. We will lock in keeping your word, deadlines, reliability, the power of I said I would. We will practice covering your people, sharing credit, taking heat, guarding dignity. And we will commit to developing people on purpose, multiplying leaders, not dependents. 8 deposits, 8 behaviors, 8 ways to raise the balance. Write the list, photograph it, tattoo it on your planning. But before we go there, I must cleanse your vocabulary. Stop announcing trust. Demonstrate it. When you are tempted to say, trust me, replace it with watch me. Replace it with check the record. Replace it with give me time. Read this one for me. Go. Evidence is the language of trust. And the greatest evidence is your private life agreeing with your public life. That agreement is your signature on every transaction. Finally, I speak a blessing and a warning. The blessing, you can grow this account. Even if you started with debt, grace gives you a line of credit to begin again. The warning, play with this and you are disqualified. Not fired by men, but disqualified by principle. God can fire you and people still think you are hired. Protect the account. Guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. Your heart writes the checks your life must honor. Write it down. Trust is the currency of leadership. Test over time equals trust. Protect the account. I'm going to deliver a sermon-like leadership message with an authoritative pastoral tone, drawing on timeless principles in scripture without imitating any single person's exact voice. Write this down. The foundation of leadership is character, not skill, not charm, not followers, character. Your gifts can get you in rooms your character cannot keep you in. And when that happens, the room becomes a trap. Leadership legitimacy is not measured by applause. It is measured by the integrity that sustains authority when the lights go out. It is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. Found, not advertised. That is character. Let me give you the picture. Trust is the currency and character is the container that holds the currency. If the container is cracked, the account leaks. Even if deposits are big, you can pour talent, strategy, and influence into a cracked life and still end up empty on the table of history. Read this with me. Strong. Trust cannot live in a cracked container. This is not poetry. This is physics of the soul. If there's a fracture in the vessel, the value escapes. You can smell it in a team, the anxiety, the whispering, the held breath, because everyone knows we have resources, but the bucket is leaking. A young executive once brought me a crystal decanter, beautiful, heavy, cut like diamonds. He filled it with water to prove its strength, set it down, and within minutes the table was wet. A hairline fracture you could barely see. That is what hidden compromise does. Your brilliance distracts for a moment. Your fracture drains for a lifetime. Do not be impressed by shine. Inspect the seal. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, because a good name is a sealed vessel. It keeps what is poured into it. So let's define character. Character is the integrated alignment between your private disciplines and your public demands. It is your invisible governor. It is the set of values enforced by your conscience when no one is watching and reinforced by your behavior when everyone is watching. Character is not perfection, but it is consistency of principle. When character is intact, your gifts are safe. When character is absent, your gifts become weapons against the very people you say you are serving. Write this down. Gifts without character create collateral damage. And I want to warn you with love. There are 3 thieves of the trust account, 3 bandits that wait at the crossroads of every leader's soul. I call them the 3 tests: appetites, fame, and power. Appetites, food, drink, sex. Fame, the hunger for attention, likes, claps, the addiction to being seen. Power, the thrill of control, the intoxication of because I can. These are not small annoyances. These are structural stress tests for your container. If you do not pass them in private, you will fail them in public. And when you fail in public, read this out loud to your own heart. You are disqualified. Not beyond redemption, but unfit to steward other people's lives until the container is repaired. Let's walk them slowly. Appetites. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of stew. A moment of appetite traded for a lifetime of authority gone. Leaders fall here because appetites are urgent, and urgency disguises danger. I do not care how powerful you are. If your plate, your glass, and your bed rule you, you're already losing currency. Temperance is not old-fashioned. It is financial policy in the bank of trust. Fast sometimes. Say no to your belly. Guard your eyes. Put your body under discipline. Write this down. If you cannot say no to you, your team must say no to you. Fame. When you do your deeds, do not sound a trumpet. The trumpet is loud now. Microphones, platforms, metrics in your pocket. Fame seduces by telling you, you are the news. You start curating optics instead of cultivating substance. You start choosing actions for visibility, not for virtue. Listen to me. When you need to be seen, you will abuse the unseen. You will shortcut process. You will bypass counsel. You will borrow trust you did not earn. Silence your trumpet. Hide your construction. Let fruit speak. The day you need applause to function is the day you declare bankruptcy and use noise as a loan. Power, you shall not lord it over them as the Gentiles do. Power is holy when it is harnessed. It is demonic when it is indulged. Power without character produces coercion. You start moving deadlines not to serve the mission, but to prove you can. You start breaking rules not to remove barriers, but to remind everyone you write them. If you taste that and smile, you are in danger. True authority sits under authority. Submit your power. Put brakes on your office. Install governance that can say to you, stop. If you cannot be stopped, you are a runaway vehicle and people will get hurt. Now, your team is not primarily following your title. They are watching your container under pressure. They are asking, does your story match your speech when the numbers miss? Do you keep the same values when you're praised or when you're blamed? Are you the same person in the boardroom and the back room? Predictable integrity is air to a team. They breathe when your values are forecastable. When you are moody, murky, or manipulative, they hold their breath and productivity dies in suffocation. Read this with me. They follow the integrity they perceive, not the position you possess. This is why the 8 deposits we will practice are not tricks. They are receipts. They are visible evidence of an invisible character. Clarity, consistency, accountability, fairness, empathy, reliability, protection, and development. Each is a window we look through to inspect the seal. If you try to perform the deposits without repairing the container, you will act righteous in meetings and rot in hotels. Performance cannot carry the weight of pretense forever. The leak will tell on you. So today, stop rehearsing optics and start reinforcing the vessel. I hear someone say, what if I already see a crack? Good. Honesty is the first weld. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. That is not poetry. That is a repair request. Invite inspection. Invite boundaries. Confess quickly. Replace secrecy with structure. I am not here to shame you. I am here to save the account. But hear me, if you ignore the crack because the pour still looks good, the day is coming when the table will be flooded and the guests will get up wet and walk away. Preempt that humiliation with holy fear. Write this down and read it to yourself every morning. When character is intact, every gift is safe. When character is cracked, every gift is dangerous. Protect the container, protect the account, submit your appetite, starve your ego, chain your power to principle. Then, when we make the deposits, they will stick, they will accrue. And your team will breathe again because the money of trust is finally being kept where it belongs, inside a sealed life. Write this down. Law produces values. Values generate morals. Morals inform conscience. Read this one for me. Go. Where there is no law, there is no stable conscience. This is not theory. This is architecture. God did not start a nation with a choir. He started it with commandments. Why? Because law interprets values. Whenever you create a law, you have identified a value. You shall not bear false witness. That law reveals the value of truth. You shall not steal. That law reveals the value of property and stewardship. Law shouts the value. Morals become the behavior we choose from those values. Conscience becomes the silent governor that enforces the law when no one is watching. conscience is unspoken law. Law is the law shouting at you. Now translate this to your workplace. Your team is not looking for your mood. They are looking for your law. They are asking, what are the non-negotiables here? Not how is the leader feeling today? Standards that move with your sleep cycle are not standards. They are storms. People cannot breathe under clouds that shift every morning. Trust grows where standards are stable, when values are clear, conscience becomes predictable, and the team can breathe. If they know what the law values, they can self-govern. If they don't know, they will live by rumor, read your face for weather, and spend their energy managing optics. That is how productivity dies. That is how cynicism is born. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. When restraint is gone, the trust account is robbed in daylight. Listen carefully. Your number one trust killer is inconsistent enforcement. Two people break the same policy. One gets a warning because you like them. The other gets a write-up because you don't. That is not leadership. That is corruption. Diverse weights and measures are an abomination. God hates unequal scales. So does your team. The moment you let your star performer violate the very code you preached last quarter, you are disqualified from asking for loyalty. Not beyond redemption, but unfit to claim moral authority until you repair the scale. Write this down. If the law changes with the person, there is no law. When there is no law, trust dies. So what do? Codify what matters. Name the values. Define the behaviors. Connect consequences to standards, not to personalities. If it isn't written, it isn't a standard, it's a suggestion. Put it on paper. Publish it on the wall, on the intranet, in the onboarding. And then read this one for me. Go apply it at the top first. Law begins with leadership. If you are late to meetings, the value is tardiness. If you avoid hard conversations, the value is comfort. If you sign policies with your pen, but break them with your calendar, the value is hypocrisy. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That's not a verse for Sunday only. That is corporate governance. Let me make this practical. Truth, behavior. Report bad news within 24 hours, even if it hurts your metrics. No data massaging. No surprise reveals at the quarterly. Consequence, miss this twice, and the project moves from your desk to someone else's. Value, respect, behavior. In meetings, speak to ideas, not identities. No interrupting, no private devices under the table while a junior staffer presents. Consequence, step out once to reset, repeat it, and you sit out the next planning session. Value, stewardship, behavior, 2 signatures for travel above a set threshold, no gifts above a modest cap. Disclose relationships that could bias contracts. Consequence, violations trigger audit, restitution, and possible reassignment. Value, justice, compensation bans posted, performance reviews tied to written criteria. Relatives cannot report directly to relatives. Consequence, breaches are corrected publicly to restore the scale. These are not decorations. These are laws that reveal what we value. When you do this, something holy happens. Conscience becomes predictable. The intern knows what excellence looks like. The manager knows how to correct without fear of favoritism. The senior leader knows exactly what they will lose if they break the code. The air clears, anxiety drops. People stop asking, will it depend on who you are? And start saying, we know how we do it here. Culture is not a mystery. It is a memory of enforced values. I can hear someone whisper, won't laws make us rigid? No, righteous law makes you free. Law liberates creativity by removing fear. The driver is most creative when they trust the guardrails. Chaos is not freedom. Chaos is bondage to personalities. Remember, values generate morals, how we behave. And the right morals feed a conscience that can say no to itself without you in the room. That is self-government. That is mature culture. Here is the warning. If you love people more than principles, you will eventually lose both. And if you love principles more than people, you will break both. The wisdom is this: love your people by loving the principles that protect them. Protect the account by protecting the scale. The day you excuse a breach because He closed the biggest deal. You just told everyone else, character is optional if you produce. That sentence will empty the account faster than scandal, because it institutionalizes distrust. Stop it. Stop using the term trust me to paper over policy. Write it down. Clarity precedes confidence. Ambiguity is an unannounced withdrawal. So, a simple process. 1, extract your laws from your mission. What must never change? 2, translate those into 5 to 7 values, not slogans, substance. 3, define 2 or 3 visible behaviors for each value. 4, design proportionate consequences and write them next to the behaviors. 5, model them first, enforce them equally, and celebrate them publicly. 6, audit quarterly. If a law is not used, either enforce it or remove it. Dead law breeds cynicism. 7, train every new hire in the code before they touch a task. 8, submit your own office to oversight that can correct you under the same law. Allow the law to judge you before you judge anyone else. I close this movement with a story. A firm I counseled kept saying, we're family, sweet word. But their family let favorites arrive late, skip documentation, and borrow equipment while quiet grinders were measured to the ounce. Resignation started soft, silent, smart people leaving. We walked the chain. No law, vague values, subjective morals, broken consciences. We wrote the code. We trained the leaders. We enforced it at the top. Within a quarter, meetings got shorter, emails got cleaner, new hires onboarded faster, and the trust account rose, not because of a pizza party, because the scale was fixed. This is the bridge to our first deposit. Clarity you can repeat. The first sound of trust is truth spoken early and written down. We are going to remove fog, because fog is theft. Protect the account. Name the law, reveal the value, define the moral, form the conscience, then watch your team breathe again. Write this down. Clarity is kindness. Your team does not fear hard truth as much as they fear surprise truth. Surprises are for birthdays, not for budgets. When you withhold what you know, you do not spare feelings, you multiply anxiety. God is not the author of confusion. Confusion is not a personality trait, it is a leadership sin. Read this one for me. Go. Tell the truth before you need to be believed. That's the deposit. Clear truth spoken early and written down is the first deposit that keeps your team from living in anxiety. Write the vision and make it plain so that he may run who reads it. Plain means repeatable. If they cannot repeat what you said without you in the room, you did not lead, you performed. So practice this. State expectations, deadlines, definitions of success, and decision rights out loud, in writing, and in the same language every time. Not poetic variations. The same word. Repetition is not insult, it is insurance. Protect the account by making your words predictable under pressure. Here is the formula. Write it down and use it today. What, who, when, What are we doing? One sentence, not a paragraph. Who owns it? A name, not a department. When is it due? A date and a time, not soon. What does win look like? One measurable outcome, not do your best. If you cannot fill those 4 lines, you're not ready to assign the task. Stop outsourcing your thinking to your team and calling it empowerment. Empowerment without clarity is abandonment in a hurricane. Ban vague leadership. Put a sign over your desk. Prohibited phrases. We'll see. Soon. We're thinking as soon as possible. Handle it. Make it happen. Probably. Circle back. These are trust IOUs with no date attached. They spend the account while pretending to deposit. Every time you say soon, an adult in your office starts living like an orphan. No calendar, no certainty, no closure. Replace them with dates and definitions. Speak like this. Decision by Tuesday, 3 p.m. Final draft by Thursday, 11 a.m. Success equals 98% on-time delivery for Q2. Final call rests with finance, not marketing. Specificity is kindness. Ambiguity is an unannounced withdrawal. Model confession without performance. If you don't know, say you don't know. That sentence, I don't know yet, is a deposit when it is paired with a path, I don't know yet. I will update you Friday at noon. If the plan changed, say why it changed. Our assumption was wrong. New regulation requires a pivot. Here is the new scope and the date. If you were wrong, say I was wrong. Those 3 words are currency. Speak the truth in love. Love is not flattery. Love is accuracy with affection. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That includes your I don't know. Let me give you a parable. A company I mentored had a brilliant product and a foggy calendar. The CEO, gifted, generous, kept saying, we're close, keep pushing, almost there, almost became a year. Sales promised vapor. Engineering began to ignore dates. They were allergic to disappointment. I sat the team down and asked a simple question. What does done look like? 5 answers. 5. We installed a clarity cadence. Monday, 9 a.m., 15 minutes. What, who, when, spoken out loud, posted in the channel, printed on a wall. Wednesday, 2 p.m., 5-minute update, green, yellow, red, no speeches. Friday, noon, 1-page recap, what moved, what didn't, and why. Within 2 cycles, customer complaints dropped, meetings shrank, and the trust account rose. Not because they worked harder, but because they could run who read it. You need decision rights as part of clarity. Who decides what, at which gates, and based on which inputs. Right or racy, if you must. Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, but stop living by vibes. When no one knows who can say yes, every yes becomes a hallway rumor. Say product owns feature scope, legal owns compliance, finance owns spend above 50,000, the COO breaks ties. Put it in writing, publish it, then enforce it. If you override your own map because you feel inspired, you just taught everyone that inspiration outranks integrity. You are disqualified from asking for process discipline. Clarity must be early. Early truth is cheap. Late truth is expensive. Tell the board the bad news before the press does. Tell your staff the budget cut before the rumor mill prints a narrative. The first voice to speak sets the vocabulary of belief. If you wait, you will end up renting someone else's words to explain your world. They will not be kind. Protect the account. Own the first sentence. Train your mouth and your mediums. Say it in the room. Write it in the note. Post it where they live. 3 touches, voice, text, visibility, and use the same language each time. If you call it a freeze in the meeting but an optimization in the memo, you just lied with synonyms. People don't fear cuts as much as they fear spin. Stop spinning. Name it, clarify it, then accompany it. Be present when the words land. Presence plus clarity equals safety. Silence plus surprises equals trauma. Here's a tool I give executives. Steal it. The 4-sentence brief. 1, in plain words. Here's what we're doing. 2, here's why it matters right now. 3, here's who owns what by when. 4, here's what success will look like and how we'll measure it. Speak it, write it, repeat it. If your team cannot repeat those 4 sentences tomorrow morning, you didn't deposit, you performed a monologue. Read this one for me. Go. Repetition is not redundancy. Repetition is reliability. Now, a warning and a bridge. Clarity without consistency becomes propaganda. If you say it on Monday and you betray it on Friday, your words become advertisements for an account that does not exist. The next deposit we will make is consistency under pressure. The same leader on Monday and Friday. Because when clarity and consistency marry, credibility is born. Until then, cleanse your language, retire, trust me, replace it with timestamps, names, and numbers. Tell the truth before you need to be believed. Write the vision, make it plain, protect the account, and watch your team stop holding their breath and start to run. Write this down. Consistency is moral stability, not rigidity. It is not stubbornness. It is sameness of values. When the variables change, methods can adapt. Schedules can flex. Vocabulary can evolve. But values, truth, justice, dignity, safety must not move. Read this one for me. Go. Your team trusts you when they can predict your values under stress, not just your tone when things are easy. Pressure is the exam room of leadership. Deadlines compress, revenue dips, executives scrutinize the deck, the comment section lights up, phones buzz with a rumor no one can stop. That is the hour when the trust account is tested. Remember the word, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Pressure does not create you, pressure reveals you. Storms do not invent your house. Storms expose your foundation. If your values are negotiable, when numbers are negative, you are not a leader, you are a weather vane. Protect the account. Be the same person on Monday and Friday. Let's identify the thieves that visit you under pressure. Number one, favoritism. You preach the code until your star violates it. You bend the rule and you call it grace. That is not grace, that is corruption. Diverse weights and measures are an abomination. When the scale tilts for your favorite, the entire shop knows. Don't tell me they didn't notice. Teams keep records. They track who you correct, who you avoid, who you excuse. Trust bleeds quietly from 1,000 exceptions you make for the gifted. Write this down. If your values depend on who did it, you have no values. You are disqualified from moral leadership until you repair the scale. Number two, mood leadership. You are generous on Friday, volcanic on Monday, depending on coffee, comments, or cash flow. Your staff studies you like a weather app. Is it safe today? That is not leadership. That is emotional tyranny. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When your mood dictates policy, people build shelters, not products. Stop it. Stop making your team manage your chemistry. Predictable values, not predictable volatility. That is the goal. So how do we deposit consistency? Decide in advance. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Before the menu arrived, he had a policy. Leaders who wait for the moment to decide their morals always sell cheap. Make your non-negotiables now. 4 lines. Post them. Speak them. Enforce them when it costs you. Here is a model. Use it. Don't edit it to death. In this house, we will not lie. We will not harm. We will not humiliate. We will not hide. Translate that. Honesty, safety, dignity, transparency. If revenue drops 20%, we will cut perks before we cut people. We will call truth before we spin optics. We will ship late before we ship unsafe. We will correct in private before we discipline in public. Write it down. Read it to them. Let the interns rehearse it until it becomes muscle memory. Practice a pre-commitment drill before crisis. Once a month, 15 minutes. Put a hypothetical on the table. A client asks you to adjust a number. A celebrity tweet trashes your product. Supply chain failure, risk a missed launch. Then ask 3 questions. Write these down. And never forget them. 1, does this action tell the truth? 2, does this action preserve dignity? 3, does this action protect life and property? If any answer is no, we don't do it. Full stop. No eloquent exception. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That is not church talk. That is crisis policy. Consistency has a cadence. Build it. Morning huddles are for tone. End of day check-ins are for truth. Who did we pressure today? Where did we drift? Who needs an apology? Don't trust your memory. Trust your ritual. I advise a simple red line review every Friday. Gather your leads. Put the non-negotiables on the screen. For each project, ask, did we touch the line? Did we justify a favorite? Did anyone have to read the weather of the leader to make a decision? If you find a violation, do not explain it. Confess it. Correct it where it occurred. Restore the scale in front of the people, the breach harm. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Steadfast means you don't slide when it's slippery. Let me show you how pressure reveals value. A tech firm I coached missed a milestone. Investors were watching. The CEO panicked and ordered a soft update, changed the label on a feature to call it beta ship. The team knew it was a lie with vocabulary. I told him, if you rename failure as progress, your people will rename loyalty as survival. He took a breath, called the investors, told the truth, ate the embarrassment, and protected the account. The next morning, his engineers came early. Why? Because they could predict his values when the heat rose. Read this one for me. Go. Predictable values are oxygen. You say, but won't that slow us down? No, it will speed the right things up. When people trust your values under stress, they stop staging theater for you. They stop crafting pretty half-truths. They tell you the bad news while you can still fix it. Consistency shortens meetings. Inconsistency multiplies memos. Consistency reduces legal risk. Inconsistency pays attorneys to translate your moods. Consistency attracts adults. Inconsistency raises actors. Now, warning and bridge. You are not a reliable judge of your own consistency. We all rate ourselves as steady while our team rolls their eyes. Consistency must be protected by accountability with teeth. Someone you trust must have the authority to say, you are drifting, stop, and you must obey. If you are the only brake in your car, you are a hazard. Stop using the term trust me to cover your swings. Submit your calendar, your hiring, your bonuses, your exceptions to a standard outside your feelings. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's our model. You need a human authority to hold you to that sameness. That is where we are going next. How to install brakes on a powerful engine. Protect the account. Decide in advance. Be the same leader on Monday and Friday. Then give someone you respect the right to keep you there. Write this down. Accountability is not punishment. It is protection, especially for the gifted. A gifted leader without accountability is a sports car with no brakes, beautiful, fast, and fatal. Read this one for me, go. A leader who won't submit to authority is asking people to trust a system with no brakes. Stop it. Protect the account. Gifts accelerate. Authority regulates. The more influence you carry, the more brakes you need. Samson had strength without supervision. He broke more than he built. David had power and he needed Nathan. Think about that. A king invited a prophet to confront him. You are the man. That sentence saved a dynasty. Accountability with teeth means someone can look you in the face, name your drift, and you submit. No speeches, no spin. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Wounds that heal are better than applause that deceives. Normalize this. Upward submission and outward submission. Upward means you identify a true and reliable authority, singular or plural, who fears God, loves truth, and does not need your money, your title, or your spotlight to live. If they need you, they cannot correct you. Choose someone with standing and scars. Someone who has passed tests over time, appetite, fame, and power, and still prefers integrity over applause. Outward submission means a structure board, advisors, audit, HR, legal, that can question your decisions and your conduct. Not symbolic advisors who meet for muffins. Teeth, write this down. If your authority cannot say no and make it stick, you have decoration, not governance. Let me be practical. Create a charter that binds you. Document 3 rights your authority holds over you. 1, veto over high-risk hires, over related party contracts, over compensation changes. 2, visibility into your calendar, your expenses, your gifts received, your conflicts of interest. Open book. 3, voice public permission to correct narratives on your behalf when necessary. If you wander, they can say stand down and you obey. If they tell you to apologize, you don't hold a press conference to explain your emotions. You apologize. If they tell you to step back, you step down. Read this one for me. Go. Submission is proved when you disagree. Until then, it's agreement with a smile. Stop the Lone Ranger myth. Independence is not maturity. It is insecurity hiding from inspection. Refusal to be examined is fear of exposure. He who isolates himself seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment. That's Bible. Leaders who avoid boards, dodge mentors, and hate audits are not brave, they are brittle. You are dangerous when no one can ask you why. Stop using the term trust me when you have no brakes. Trust is the currency of leadership. Currency requires a central bank. Accountability is that bank. Workplace application. Right now, install transparent metrics. What gets measured gets managed, and what gets hidden gets corrupted. Publish the dashboard everyone sees. Customer health, delivery dates, cash burn, safety incidents, complaint volume, same numbers to you and to them. No private dashboards for the real story. That duplicity is theft from the account. Keep a decision log. Every strategic decision above an agreed threshold answers 4 questions. What did we decide? Who decided? On what data? What risks and mitigations? Time-stamped, stored, visible. When the rumor mill rises, you don't argue. You point to the log. Document commitments. I said I would. Requires receipts, dates, owners, deliverables, kept where adults can check, not in your head where you edit history. Now, the heat point postmortems without scapegoating. When something blows up, you don't hunt a witch, you fix a system. Use this liturgy. I call it a holy autopsy. Facts only. What happened, when, and where. Assumptions, which ones failed. Standards, which law or value we violated. Ownership, who owns the repair by name, not a department. Plan, what will change by what date. No adjectives, no sarcasm, no character assassinations. When you allow scapegoating, you build a culture of fear and silence. The truth goes underground. Speak the truth in love. Love corrects systems so people can be safe. Design, recusal rules. If a decision touches your cousin, your investment, your book, your bonus, you step out. Don't just say, I'm unbiased. Recuse. Diverse weights and measures are an abomination. Unequal scales are God's disgust. Build a conflicts register. Disclose relationships quarterly. Let someone else, not you, decide if it's safe. Protect the account. Protect the scale. Choose auditors who fear God, not losing your retainer. Fresh eyes yearly. Rotate roles. No one should approve their own spend, sign their own raise, or review their own mistake. That includes you. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Safety means predictability. Predictability births trust. Test over time equals trust. Now a story. A founder I coached, brilliant, fast, beloved, kept a secret slush of discretionary generosity. Birthday gifts, emergency loans. Sound sweet, but it was off book and sometimes generous to favorites. HR trembled. Finance winced. I told him, love without law becomes tyranny, dressed as kindness. We built a benevolence policy with a committee that did not report to him, clear criteria and private dignity. He submitted the card, the cash, the calendar. He grumbled, then he slept. His team exhaled. Why? Because authority with teeth removes suspicion. The trust account climbed, not because he gave more, but because he gave under law. Here is your immediate obedience list. Write it down. 1. Identify a true and reliable authority by Friday 5 p.m. Not your fan, your father-in-law, or your financier. Someone who will protect your soul and the scale. 2. Give them written veto over one high-risk domain this month: compensation, contracts, or hiring. Start with 1, expand to 3. 3. Expose your calendar and expenses, full visibility to your authority and to finance. 4. Start a decision log tomorrow. No decision above X dollars or Y risk without an entry. 5. Schedule a monthly postmortem with the holy autopsy liturgy. Invite dissent on purpose. 6. Recusal rules in writing. Sign them. Publish them. Warning: if you cannot do this, you are disqualified from asking for loyalty. Not beyond redemption, but you have no moral right to request trust in a car you refuse to break. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humility looks like this: search me, let them search, and when they find, don't justify, shut your mouth, confess, correct, let the authority represent you. Protect the account. Bridge now. Once you are under authority, you can do justice. Without accountability, your justice becomes taste and temperament tyranny with a title. With authority above you and structure around you, you can practice fairness without favoritism, justice as a daily deposit. That is where we are going next. Because the scale must not only be calibrated, it must be used the same way for every person every day. Protect the account. Submit to authority before you ask for loyalty. Then judge with clean hands. Write this down. Fairness is sameness of standard. Same rules, same consequences, same access to information. That's justice at work. Not sentiment, not smiles, not I like you. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. If you want God's credibility on your leadership, lay the same foundation under your decisions. Read this one for me. Go. Justice is a daily deposit, not a speech, a practice. Trust bleeds when you run 2 scales. Diverse weights and measures are an abomination. That's strong language, because unequal scales quietly rob people. You think you're being kind to your star, you are being cruel to your culture. Hidden withdrawals look like this. Write them down. Secret exceptions for favorites. Shifting goalposts when the score is inconvenient. praising one person for the same behavior you punish in another, early access to information for insiders while everyone else learns from the hallway. These are not small things. Every exception whispers the rules are a rumor, and when rules become a rumor, trust becomes a myth. Let me show you a scene. A sales director, top biller, rainmaker, submitted expenses that broke policy, first class on a coach allowance. The CFO said, "We need him. Waive it." I told the CEO, if you bend the rule for the rainmaker, you have just canceled the umbrella for the rest. He applied the same consequence we applied to a junior rep the month before. Reimbursement required, note to file, coaching conversation. No humiliation, only correction. The star sulked, then stayed. The team didn't sulk, they slept. Why? Because the scale didn't tilt for talent. The trust account rose. Not because you punish, but because you were predictable. Operationalize fairness. Don't trust your heart, trust your system. Promotions. Publish the criteria, skills matrix, impact evidence, behavior against values. Use a scoring rubric that can be explained to a teenager, not gut feel. Document the why for every elevation. Attach the evidence to the file. Projects completed, wins delivered, peer feedback, value behaviors observed. Make it accessible to the candidate and to the panel. If you cannot explain why you promoted someone in 3 sentences tied to written criteria, you didn't promote, you anointed. Stop using the term trust me. Say, here are the criteria. Here is your score. Here is the gap. Here is a path. Fairness is not mystery, it is method. Workload distribution, rotate glamour and grunt. Track who gets the stretch assignments, who gets weekend duty, who travels, who presents to the board. If the same 3 names carry the dirty work while others collect spotlights, your speeches on team are lies wrapped in confetti. Build a rotation calendar. Give opt-outs for life. Seasons documented and time-bound. If someone gets relief now, they carry weight later. That is not punishment. That is equity. Publish the schedule. No surprises. No, we thought you knew. Same rules, same access, same consequences. Recognition, write this down. Share credit, don't hoard credit, and don't aim the spotlight by friendship. Establish recognition categories tied to values, not to volume alone. If honesty is on the wall, celebrate the engineer who halted a release to protect customers, not only the salesperson who closed the deal. Link the award to the deposit. Document the why on the slide. Names, actions, values. Transparency destroys suspicion. Now, discipline, separate personhood from performance. We correct behavior without humiliating identity. The scripture says, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. Correction is surgery, not a street fight. Use this language. When you did X, the impact was Y. Our standard is Z. Next time do A. Facts, impact, standard, path. Not labels like lazy, stupid, toxic. Never diagnose the soul to fix a schedule. Speak the truth in love. Love preserves dignity while telling the whole truth. Remember Jesus with the woman caught. He covered her dignity in the crowd, then commanded, go and sin no more. Cover, then correct. Identity protected. Behavior redirected. Public praise, private correction. If you must correct publicly because the harm was public, do it without scorn. No sarcasm, no nicknames, no rolling of eyes for laughs. Leaders who use humiliation as a management tool are not strong. They are weak and afraid. You are disqualified from moral leadership if you build a culture where people fear exposure more than they love excellence. Repent, change your tongue. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Guard the goalpost. If you set a quota, do not move it mid-quarter because reality is painful. If conditions force a change, compensate fairly. Put the change in writing and get written acknowledgement. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Do not camouflage failure with new definitions. Do not rob victory by raising the bar after they jump. Predictability is oxygen. Do not suffocate your team to save your ego. Here is your fairness protocol. Write it down. One scale. Publish the standard. Use it every time for every name, including yours. 2, one process. Document the criteria, the panel, the timeline, the right to appeal. 3, one record attached to why to every decision, stored where adults can read it. 4, one voice communicate decisions with the same words to all affected. Insiders do not get early euphemisms. 5, one correction, ethic, facts, impact, standard path, cover identity, confront behavior. If you can't do these, you are not ready to judge. Run for cover. Invite an authority to sit in your judgments until you can protect the account without tilting the scale. Fairness costs. It will cost you speed when your favorite is available and the rotation says, not this time. It will cost you convenience when a top performer breaks a rule and the consequence must be applied. It will cost you applause when you refuse to play politics with recognition. But hear me, every cost is a deposit. Read this one for me, go. Teams trust leaders who practice justice when it costs them, not just when it benefits them. The fruit? Safety. People stop wearing armor. They stop lawyering their emails. They stop whispering, be careful. The rules bend for friends. Safety is the soil where empathy can be trusted. Without fairness, your empathy is suspect affection for some, theater for others. With a clean scale, your presence becomes protection, your listening becomes restorative, and your respect in small moments becomes believable. That is where we go next, empathy that shows up. But first, fix the scale. One standard, one process, one record. Protect the account. Judge with clean hands every day. Write this down. Empathy is disciplined attention, not emotional softness. It is not crying at the meeting. It is caring enough to notice what people carry to work every day. We do not have a high priest who cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities. That means great leadership feels and then acts with wisdom. Read this one for me. Go. Respectful presence in small moments is a deposit your team can feel long before they can measure it. Protect the account. Your team is not just bringing laptops, they're bringing life. Sick parents, tuition pressure, a child who didn't sleep, a diagnosis still secret, commuter exhaustion, quiet grief. Leaders who demand performance without perceiving people are tyrants with targets. Stop it. Jesus saw the crowds and was moved with compassion. See, then move, not blind speed, not cold metrics, disciplined attention. Let me correct a lie. Empathy is not indulgence. It does not cancel standards. It clarifies them with context. Grace and truth travel together. A bruised reed he will not break, but he still says, go and sin no more. Healthy empathy preserves dignity while calling people up to the standard. It is strength with a soft voice. Here is your empathy protocol. Write it down. 1, consistent one-on-ones. Choose a cadence weekly or bi-weekly, 25 minutes. Lock them. Do not cancel them except for true emergencies. Every cancellation is a withdrawal. It says you are negotiable. Stop using the term trust me if you won't keep an appointment with your own people. 2, uninterrupted listening. Phone face down. Laptop closed. Notifications off. Your eyes are the first deposit. If your gaze wanders, their trust will too. 3, ask these 4 questions every time. In this order. What's working? What's not working? What's heavy for you right now? What do you need from me? 4, summarize back. Say, here's what I heard, A, B, and C. Did I get it right? Let them correct you. The summary is the receipt that the deposit cleared. 5, commit one action you own. Name it, date it, and repeat, I will do X by Y. Then write it down and send a 1-paragraph recap within 24 hours. We'll deal with promises next. But hear me, if you won't close the loop, your empathy becomes noise. Leaders, control your reflex to perform intelligence when someone brings a problem. Don't flex your vocabulary. Don't rush to repair your image. First, acknowledge impact. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. When a teammate says, that policy embarrassed me, don't preach the intent of the policy, affirm the effect. That hits you hard. I see it. When a parent says, school pickup is crushing me, don't quote productivity hacks. Say that's real. Let's find flexibility that protects the standard and your family. Presence before process, names before numbers, then plan. Respectful speech is account protection. Write it down. Sarcasm is a debit card with no pin. It drains the account while you grin. Public shaming is a bank robbery with a microphone. Dismissive jokes are withdrawals disguised as humor. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but only what is useful for building others up. If you use your mic to mock, you are disqualified until your tongue is sanctified. Run for cover. Repent. Change how you speak. Measure jokes by this rule. Does it preserve dignity? Does it strengthen courage? Does it align with the value on the wall? If not, shut your mouth. Small moments, preach. Pronounce their names correctly. Ask twice if you must. Celebrate a win in the hallway without making it a spectacle. Show up for the night shift once a quarter. Sit in the cheap chair in the back row and listen with no clipboard. Write a handwritten note for a thankless task. Attend a funeral quietly. Send flowers from your personal account, not just the company. 5 minutes of focused presence can repair 5 months of distance if it is sincere and repeated over time. Test over time equals trust. A story, a VP, I coach Elena, ran operations like a symphony, but kept missing her one-on-ones. People got results, but they were bleeding. I told her, your execution is loud. Your absence is louder. She built a ritual called First Chair, 15 minutes at the start of each shift, standing at the line, asking our 4 questions, taking notes on paper so her team saw their words become plans. She summarized. She asked, what do you need from me? And she sent a same-day note with one promise she owned. In 90 days, incidents dropped, voluntary overtime rose, and the whisper changed from be careful to shield show. Why? Presence deposited predictability. The account grew. Guard the meeting itself. Craft a space. Sit at eye level. If it's virtual, confirm you are in a private room. Say, I'm taking notes so I don't forget you, not to build a file against them. Never weaponize what they share in trust. If a boundary is required, I can't discuss that detail, say it with honor. Remember, love covers a multitude of sins. Cover dignity, correct behavior, protect the account. Now, training your ears, write this down. Listen for facts, feelings, and frames. Facts, what happened? Feelings, how it landed. Frames, the story they're telling themselves about what it means. If you don't address the frame, the feeling will keep returning. You felt sidelined when we changed the roster. The frame is, I'm not valued. Here is the truth. The rotation was time-based, not friendship-based. Here is how we'll show value going forward. That level of clarity prevents resentment from becoming culture. And the warning, empathy without reliability becomes sympathy. Theater tears on stage, betrayals off stage. If you nod at pain, but you don't keep your word, you train cynicism. People will smile in your presence and mock you in private. Do not build a ministry of sentiment with a practice of neglect. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. We are going there next. Because every I will must land in reality or the account leaks. But today, start here. Schedule the one-on-ones. Keep them. Ask the 4 questions. Summarize back. Own one action. Clean your mouth. Erase sarcasm. Ban public shaming. Elevate dignity. If anger rises, step out, run for cover, and cool your soul. Return with gentleness. A soft answer turns away wrath. Your respectful presence is not optional. It is leadership. Read this one for me. Go. Respectful presence in small moments is a deposit your team can feel long before they can measure it. Protect the account. And prepare, because the next deposit is the seal on your empathy. Keep your word. Write this down. Reliability is time-based integrity. Trust is not a feeling, it is a record. Test over time equals trust. Not what you intended, not what you almost did. What you did when the calendar arrived. God keeps covenant to 1,000 generations. That is time-based faithfulness. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Read this one for me. Go. Every kept promise is a deposit. Every unclosed loop is a silent withdrawal. Protect the account. This is where most leaders leak. We love to talk. We love to assure. We love to announce. But trust does not grow on announcements. It grows on arrivals. Write this down. A promise is a dated commitment with a definition of done. If it has no date, it is not a promise. It is poetry. If it has no clear outcome, it is not a promise. It is smoke. Fewer promises, clearer promises, say less, deliver more. Stop using the term trust me. Instead say, by Thursday, 3 p.m., I will email the revised proposal with the 3 corrections we named. You will have it in your inbox. Then write it down, confirm it in writing within 24 hours, and close the loop when done. Do not assume they know it's finished. Send the receipt, delivered as promised. That sentence is a deposit. Build a promise protocol. 1, what name the exact deliverable. 2, when, clock time, and time zone. 3, how we will confirm email, subject line, shared folder link, sign off by name. Put it in the recap after the meeting. If you cannot write it clearly, you cannot do it cleanly. Leaders, put yourself on a promise diet. Limit your active promises you personally own. Don't collect commitments like trophies. Curate them like surgeries. Your word is a scalpel. Do not wave it around. Let me confront a common sin, overpromising to look strong. That is not faith. That is image management. You are trying to buy applause with future time you do not own. It is lying with a calendar. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. When you promise and drift, you make the team sick. Their hearts get heavy. They stop asking. They start hedging. They build workarounds. You think they are loyal? They are surviving you. You are disqualified from moral leadership if you chronically promise what you do not plan, capacity you do not have, or timelines you will not submit to accountability. Not beyond redemption, but step back from the mic. Repent, reduce your promises. Rebuild the account with quiet arrivals. Now, write this down. Renegotiation is not failure. Disappearing is. If you can deliver, don't vanish. Communicate early, explain plainly, and reset expectations. Here is the clean renegotiation liturgy. As soon as you know you will miss, not after, not on the due date, but when risk emerges, call. Don't just email. Confess without cosmetics. I committed to Friday, 3 p.m. I am behind. Here's why no excuses. My estimate was wrong. State the impact you perceive. This delays your testing by 1 day. Propose a new realistic date with buffer. I can deliver Monday, 12 noon. Ask for consent. Does that work, or do we need to adjust scope? Accept consequences. If you need someone else to take this piece, I submit. Then confirm in writing. Renegotiate it to Monday, 12 noon. Agreed. That is integrity under pressure. That is a deposit even in delay because you protected predictability. A story. 2 directors, same project, same pressure. One missed a Friday handoff, said nothing, showed up Monday, apologizing with a poetry slam. A reason, server, dog, traffic, planets. The customer escalated, the trust account overdrafted. The other saw on Wednesday that she was slipping. She called, owned it, trimmed scope with consent, delivered the most critical pieces on time, and the rest on Monday noon. The client thanked her for professionalism. Same delay, different discipline. One withdrew silently, the other deposited predictability. Leaders, never outsource your promises to your team without protection. If you said, we will deliver, and the team hits a wall, you do not throw them under the bus to save your shine. You take the heat. You cover their dignity in public, then you fix process in private. He who dwells in the secret place, cover is holy. Reliability includes protection. We will go there next. Cover your people. But hear me now. If you gamble with timelines to look impressive, then blame your people. When physics arrives, you are draining the account with a straw in front of the whole company. Shut your mouth. Stop the press tour and say, I set an unrealistic date. The team raised the risk. I ignored it. That is on me. Then correct it. That confession is a deposit. Operationalize this. Write it down. Keep a promise ledger. A simple shared doc with 3 columns. I said I would. By when? Done. Date. Review it weekly in front of your authority and your assistant. If it isn't in the ledger, it doesn't exist. If it's in the ledger and past due, it gets an honest status. Delivered, renegotiated, or failed. No fairy dust. Build warning lights into your week. A 15-minute integrity check every Wednesday noon to scan the ledger and pre-negotiate risks. And build a closing ritual. Every Friday, 4 p.m., send 3 receipts, 3 loops closed, so the weekend breathes for your people. Small? No. Each receipt is oxygen. Guard your mouth at the podium. In town halls and team meetings, never make promises your operations team hasn't costed. Replace, we will launch in 30 days with, we are targeting 30 days. I will confirm by Friday after we validate dependencies. That sentence may not get a standing ovation, but it will build a standing culture. A righteous man swears to his own hurt and does not change. If keeping the promise costs you, pay it. If you cannot pay it without breaking the system, renegotiate early with honor. Read this one for me, go. Every kept promise is a deposit. Every unclosed loop is a silent withdrawal. Protect the account. Keep your word small enough to keep. Write it down. Confirm it. Deliver it. If you can't, renegotiate cleanly. And when promises involve your team, your reliability must come with a shield. Share credit. Take heat. Guard dignity. That is where we go next. Cover your people, because when they know you will stand between them and the storm, they will stop protecting themselves and start building with you. Write this down. Leadership is responsibility. If you want the glory, you must accept the blame. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. That is not poetry, that is policy. Cover is not a cover up. Cover is courage. It means you step forward, you take the heat, you guard dignity, and then you fix what's broken without turning your people into entertainment. Read this one for me, go. When your team knows you will cover them, they stop protecting themselves and start building with you. Protect the account. Here is the protection principle in practice. Upward, you take ownership. Downward, you give credit. Sideways, you shield dignity. Praise publicly, correct privately. If the harm was public, you correct publicly without humiliation. Facts, impact, standard, path, no sarcasm. Love covers a multitude of sins. Love does not erase standards. It preserves dignity while enforcing them. Stop using the term, trust me, show me your shield, show me you can stand between your people and the storm. That is trust. A story, a product release failed in the wild. Angry customers, blazing threads, the easy play, name the engineer, blame the intern, blame the vendor. The leader I coached did none of that. He faced the board and said, I own this. I set the date. I approved the gate. The issue escaped because our process was insufficient. Under the load I demanded. Here's the mitigation. Here's the timeline. Hold me accountable. Then he walked to the floor, gathered the team and said, no one will be shamed. We will do a blameless postmortem. We will find root cause. We will correct the system. He covered them in public, corrected systems in private, and documented the learning. Within a quarter, velocity rose, incidents fell, and the whisper changed from be careful to he'll stand there. That whisper is a deposit. Protect the account. Write this down. Never throw your team under the bus to save face. If your mouth utters the phrase, it was my team, as a shield for your image, you are disqualified from moral leadership until you repent and repair. Shut your mouth. Run for cover. Own it, then fix it. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. He did not outsource the wolves. True leaders do not outsource the wolves to their interns. Operationalized protection. 1. The upward ownership rule. When reporting to boards, clients, or the public, use I for blame and we for progress. I approved. I failed to see. I will ensure for the fault. We are implementing. We have corrected for the fix. 2. The downward credit rule. Name names for achievements, not for failures. Jamal redesigned the flow. Priya caught the defect. Anna led the recovery. Credit as oxygen. Distributed generously. 3. The war room protocol. When things break, move from the open plan circus to a private war room with need-to-know participants. Cameras off the show. Eyes on the truth. No screenshots of half-baked Slack messages. No circulating emails for education that mock mistakes. Protect dignity while you pursue facts. 4. The retrospective ethic, blameless postmortems. Hunt systems, not souls. We want root cause, not a body count. 5. The dignity guardrail, no gossip leadership. Proverb says, a gossip betrays a confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret. Leaders who leak internal pain to look important are thieves of trust. If you are forwarding private complaints to group chats with your commentary, you are draining the account with a megaphone. Repent, delete, apologize. Submit to authority and let someone else hold your microphone until your tongue is healed. Let me be clear. Gossip is not communication. It is cowardice disguised as concern. It trains people to hide. It makes innovators go silent. It turns your brainstorm into a blame storm. Read this. If your team believes every stumble becomes a stage show, they will stop taking risks. They will stop telling the whole truth. They will start sending CYA emails. And you will wonder, why is creativity low? You killed it with your tongue. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Speak life, cover them to create courage. Here is your crisis script. Write it down. When something fails and you are in front of authority, say, I take responsibility for the outcome. We are containing impact now. I will return by specific time with root cause, corrective actions, and timeline. In the meantime, please direct concerns to me. That sentence is a shield. Then go to your team and say, you are safe from humiliation here. We will tell the truth and we will learn. I will take the heat. You take the notes and the actions. Let's fix it. That is how you make deposits in a hurricane. Protecting dignity does not mean sparing laziness. It means correcting without stripping identity. Restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, considering yourself. Speak with precision, behavior, impact, standard, path, no labels, no theater, no rolling of eyes for a laugh. If anger rises, step out, breathe, pray, then return with a soft answer. Leaders who weaponize meetings to vent are not strong, they are reckless. You are disqualified from moral leadership if you humiliate people as a strategy. Hand the mic to an authority who fears God more than optics. Submit, be restored, then return with gentleness. Write this down. Establish a covenant with your team. Say it out loud, put it in writing, and live it. I will give credit by name. I will accept blame without excuse. I will not gossip your mistakes. I will protect your dignity. In return, you will tell the truth early, own your part, and pursue the standard. Review it quarterly, measure it. Ask them anonymously, did you feel covered? If the answer is no, do not defend yourself. Repent, change, protect the account. And now the fruit. When people know you will stand in the gap, they stop guarding their backs and start advancing the mission. They bring you the bad news early. They admit half-formed ideas. They take noble risks. They innovate without fear of a public stoning. Psychological safety is not a TED talk. It is the felt reality that the leader will not sell you to buy applause. That reality is created by repeated, observable, covering behaviors over time. Test over time equals trust. Read this one for me, go. When your team knows you will cover them, they start protecting themselves and start building with you. That is why this deposit is non-negotiable, because once the shield is up, we can finally do the highest work of leadership development, not dependents, not fans, leaders. People who can carry the weight when you are gone. He must increase and I must decrease. That is next. Develop people on purpose so the account outlives you. Protect the account. Cover your people. Then multiply them. Write this down. Development is love with structure, not vibes, not compliments. Structure coaching, feedback, training budgets, stretch assignments, and your voice advocating for them in rooms they cannot enter. Read this one for me, go. The highest trust deposit is development, because it proves you want people to grow, not just to comply. Trust is the currency of leadership. When you invest in growth, you are putting gold in the account. Protect the account. Jesus did not build a fan club. He built a team. He called, he taught, he sent. He appointed 70 and sent them 2 by 2. He gave them assignments, authority, and a debrief table. Moses laid hands on Joshua, not because Moses was tired, but because the nation needed continuity. Paul told Timothy, entrust these things to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. That is 4 generations in one sentence. Followers into leaders, leaders into agents of change. That is the fruit of a healthy trust account. Write this down. Love without a plan is sentiment. Leadership without successes is selfishness. If your people can only function when you are in the room, you are not a leader, you are a bottleneck with a title. Stop using the term, trust me. Show me your development plan. Show me your budget. Show me your ladder. Read this to me. Go. If it isn't written, it isn't real. Protect the account. Here is your development protocol. 1, growth plans 90 days at a time. Each plan must include 4 lines. Role outcomes to master, 2 skills to acquire, 1 character target to strengthen, and 1 experience to attempt. Outcomes, measurable and owned. Skills, specific SQL joins, budget variance analysis, conflict mediation, character target, punctuality, truth-telling under pressure, stewardship of resources. Experience, lead the retrospective, present the Q2 results, negotiate 1 vendor contract, put names and dates. If it is not dated, it is a dream. 2, skill ladders, write them down. Novice, proficient, expert. For each wrong, define behaviors. Novice can do with supervision. Proficient can do independently. Expert can teach and improve the system. The latter removes mystery. The latter fights favoritism. It stabilizes conscience. People can breathe because the rungs are clear. 3, mentorship pairing. Select a mentor for each emerging leader. Do not pair clones, pair complements. Schedule 1 hour monthly. The mentor's job is not gossip, it is growth. The rule, 2 questions always. What decision did you face this month? What value guided you? Take notes. Keep confidence with righteous boundaries. If sin or harm appears, we do not bury it. We escalate with honor. Forgiveness is free. Restoration is a process. We will talk about that in a moment. 4, coaching cadence, bi-weekly, 25 minutes. Use disciplined conversations. What worked? What did not? What felt heavy? What do you need from me? Give feed forward, not just feedback. 1 behavior to continue, 1 to change, 1 resource to get. Summarize and send a receipt. Here's what you said. Here's what I heard. Here's what I commit. Test over time equals trust. 5, training budget, a line item, not a leftover. If it does not live in your budget, it will die in your calendar. Assign a percentage. Guard it like payroll and track its return with real measures. Cycle time, quality, bench depth, buy books, fund courses, bring in trainers. If the CFO asks why, say, because the account of trust compounds when people grow. 6, stretch assignments, authority with a safety net. Write this down. Responsibility without authority is slavery. Authority without responsibility is abuse. Define the decision rights. You can approve discounts up to X, change process Y within this boundary, and allocate Z hours without additional approval. Name the scoreboard, quality metric, timeline, and customer impact. Set 2 checkpoints, midpoint and pre-launch. You are present, but you are not choking. You are guarding, but you are not grabbing. 7, advocacy in rooms. Use your mouth as a lift. Say their names when they are not in the room. Jesse has the draft and will present next week. Amina should lead this initiative. She has already reduced defect rate by 30%. Sponsor intentionally. Put your political capital behind the prepared. If you hoard spotlight, you are not a shepherd, you are a star. Stars burn out, shepherds raise successors. Now, let me confront the demon of control. Insecure leaders hoard power and call it excellence. They keep signatures on their desk so they can feel important. They interrupt decisions at the last minute, so everyone has to wait for their wisdom. That is not wisdom, that is fear masquerading as quality. You are disqualified from moral leadership if your need to be needed is greater than your need to multiply. Run for cover. Repent, submit to an authority, get healed, then come back and distribute authority while you monitor character. The greatest protection of leadership is character, yours and theirs. Train for competence, test for character. Appetite, fame, and power. That triad will expose a soul. Give small power. Watch, increase slowly. Protect the account. A story. A division head Mara was brilliant and buried. Her team admired her and resented her because everything bottlenecked at her desk. We wrote a development protocol. She named 3 lieutenants. Each received a 90-day plan. A ladder rung to reach. A mentor from another department, and a stretch assignment with decision space. She funded 2 certifications. moved their approvals up to 15K, and told the executive room, Luis will brief the board on the rollout. I will stand with him. He will lead. Luis stumbled once, missed a risk in Q&A. Mara did not grab the mic. She covered him in the room. We will return with the risk analysis by Thursday. Then she coached him in private, reset the standard, and scheduled a redo. 90 days later, he crushed the next briefing. Mara ran on a 2-week trip, no outages, no midnight calls. The whisper in the corridor changed from "it falls apart when she's gone" to "she grows leaders." That whisper is a deposit. It multiplies. Write this down. Development includes correction. Growth without pruning is chaos. When someone fails a stretch, we do 4 things. 1, cover dignity. No public flaying. 2, tell the truth. Behavior, impact, standard, path. 3, adjust authority. Appropriately scale the decision space back to match demonstrated character and competence. 4, document a restoration path, milestones, mentors, and a date to reassess. Forgiveness is immediate. Restoration is measured. Do not confuse mercy with management. If you hand the gun back to a shaky hand, you injure the whole team. Protect the account. Measure your multiplication. Ask these questions every quarter. How many decisions happen without me? How many people can sign in my absence within values? How many successes exist for each major role? How many names did I advocate this quarter in rooms they could not enter? If the answers are small, your future is small. If the answers are growing, your trust account is compounding. And leaders, mind your language when delegating. Do not say, "Trust me, you got this." That is lazy coaching. Say, "I authorize you to decide X within Y boundaries by Z date. I will cover you publicly and coach you privately." Here's how we will measure. That sentence is oxygen. It is also accountability. It says, "I trust you enough to let you try, and I love you enough to not let you drift." That is development. That is leadership. Read this one for me. Go. The highest trust deposit is development, because it proves you want people to grow, not just to comply. Write it down. Build the plans. Fund the budgets. Pair the mentors. Define the ladders. Delegate with real authority. Advocate in rooms. Correct without humiliation. Protect the account. And when growth brings inevitable stumbles, and if we remember this law, we will address next. Forgiveness is not the restoration of trust. There is a road back. It is structured. It is supervised. And if you submit to it, your account can be rebuilt stronger than before. But for now, multiply. Raise leaders, not dependents. Transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. That is your legacy. Protect the account. All right, we said it. Forgiveness is not the restoration of trust. Now we walk the road. But first, write this down. Withdrawals are faster than deposits. What took you 20 years to build can be lost in 20 seconds. Read this one for me. Go. Test over time equals trust. Protect the account. Now name the leaks so you fear them. Lying, verbal counterfeiting. Every time you twist a fact, you print fake currency and pass it to your people. It spends once, then the bank flags the serial number, inconsistency, being a different person on Monday and Friday. Your team cannot budget for a personality that swings. Favoritism justice, but a discount code for friends. You train the faithful to stop striving, because outcomes are for the favored, not the faithful. Broken promises, deadlines missed, loops unclosed. It is theft by optimism. Public humiliation, using meetings to punish. You buy a laugh and bankrupt a soul. Secrecy, need to hide, not need to know. Darkness is a mold farm for distrust. Moral compromise, private appetites, running public agendas. Be sure your sin will find you out. Each one drains the account. Small drops, sudden spills, and one night, bankruptcy. Now, the hard line. Some behaviors disqualify you from certain roles for a season. Write it down. Denial is not leadership, it is self-preservation. When you violate the account, lying, sleeping with subordinates, stealing funds, abusing power, intoxicated at the wheel of influence, do not mount a PR campaign. You are disqualified. Shut your mouth. Step down. Run for cover under authority. This is not cruelty. This is triage for the body you wounded. God can fire you and people think you are still hired. Do not confuse applause with approval. The applause is delayed. Disqualification is immediate. Listen to scripture. He who covers his sins shall not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them shall have mercy. Mercy is available. Office is not automatic. Write this down. Forgiveness is free. Restoration is expensive. People can forgive you and still not trust you with the keys. That is not unforgiveness. That is wisdom. Stop using the term trust me when you have emptied the account. That is manipulation. Say nothing. Submit to the process. Here is the road back. I am going to give you the steps. Don't argue. Write them down. 1, identify a true and reliable authority who fears God and is respected by the community. Not your buddy, not your PR team. Choose someone whose no you will obey. The first criteria, choose one who fears God. 2, completely submit to that authority without condition. Place your title, your microphone, your passwords, your calendar on the table. No precondition, no clause. 3, confess the truth of the authority without cosmetics. No justifying, no blaming stress, critics, or the devil. David said, I have sinned against the Lord, full stop. 4, allow the authority to represent you to the greater community. You do not craft statements. You do not go live. You do not leak. They speak. You listen. 5, be silent in public. Shut your mouth. Do not explain your motives. Do not start a sympathy tour. Silence is humility's uniform. Let your tears be in the office, not on Instagram Live. 6, accept immediate consequences. Step down. Cancel appearances. Return keys. If the authority says no pulpit for 12 months, you say yes. If they move you from handling money to sweeping floors, you say thank you. This is not humiliation. This is healing. 7, enter supervised counseling and discipleship. Appetite, fame, power, your soul must be examined. Get a therapist, get a spiritual mentor. Document the seasons of progress. Do not audit your own soul. You are the one who deceived it. 8, make restitution where possible. If you stole, repay principal and interest. If you defame, call and apologize. If you broke a marriage, submit to boundaries that keep you far from the edge. Zacchaeus did not just say, I am sorry. He returned fourfold. 9, servant hiddenness. Show up on time. Clean the room. Carry rice. Sit in the back. When you are invited, take the lowest place. Why? Because character grows in obscurity. You broke trust in secret. Repair it in secret with steady obedience. Permit time. Write this down. It takes longer to rebuild it than to build it. Do not ask, am I ready yet? The very question reveals you are not. Let the authority decide timing and scope of any return. 11, submit to testing assignments before public elevation. Quiet tasks with clear standards. Small windows of authority to evaluate stability. Measured increases. You are not negotiating terms. You are obeying wisdom. 12, when and if restored, return at the level the authority assigns. It may not be your old chair. Some roles change permanently. Accept it. Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, and he will exalt you in due time. Due time belongs to him and to those he set over you. Let me show you this in scripture. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, public failure. Jesus forgave him privately with a look and later restored him at a fire with 3 questions. Do you love me? Then the new mandate, feed my sheep. Notice the process. A season passed. Peter wept. He stayed with the brothers. He submitted to the leader he betrayed. When he was restored, it was not because he insisted. It was because the chief shepherd recommissioned him. Forgiveness was immediate. Restoration was supervised and timed. David's confession, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. He was forgiven, but consequences rippled for years. He returned to the throne, yes, but under the weight of scars. Write this down. Scars do not disqualify. Secrecy does. Light heals. Darkness rots. Bring it under authority now. Leaders, hear me. If trust is damaged, don't demand it. Read this one for me, go. If trust is damaged, don't demand it. Submit to a process. And let time-tested integrity rebuild the account. Protect the account. This is the way back. Not a show, not a sprint, a path. You cannot market your way to trust. You must behave your way to trust. The currency is character, tested over time. Test over time equals trust. And to those under leaders in process, your job is not to worship nor to stone. It is to require process and to practice mercy. Forgive quickly. Demand accountability rigorously. Pray loudly. Watch quietly. Let the authority do its job. Restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted. Gentleness without standards breeds monsters. Standards without gentleness breaks bruised reeds. We need both law and love, values and mercy, justice and hope. That is how a culture breeds again. Finally, hope. You can come back after a fall. Not by force, not by charm, not by denial, but by humility under discipline. If you bow, you can be raised. If you argue, you will wander. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Choose humility, choose process, choose time. And one day, quietly, the whispers will change. Watch him, he is steady now. She tells the truth early. He keeps his word. They cover their people. Those whispers are deposits. The account begins to grow again. And when you stand to speak, you will not need to say, trust me. Your life will have already said, you can. Protect the account always.